Hey Heritage Hill Youth Group, welcome back to another message on the Hill from yours truly, Pastor Ben. And so today I want to talk about what kind of transpired after the resurrection of Jesus. We just celebrated Easter. We're in this weird time where Jesus is walking with his disciples. He's appearing to them. Crazy stuff is happening, but there's one unique place in Scripture where Jesus appears to a specific group of disciples I want to talk about today. And so here's the setting. Jesus appears to his disciples, James and John and Peter, I believe, and they're out fishing. And he tells them to throw their nets to the other side, and they make this great catch. Very similar to a miracle he performed before. And so Peter, knowing that this is Jesus, takes off his garment and dives into the water and swims to the shore to Jesus to meet him. And so they get the fish in, and they have a fire that Jesus has already prepared, and they start eating these fish, and they have these conversations. And Peter is talking to Jesus, and Jesus reinstates him. He tells him, "I've forgiven you for denying me. You are going to be the rock. You're going to be who I build my church on." And he goes as far to tell Peter, "You are going to die for me. You will die for me, like you said before." And it's going to be this crazy event. And Peter's like, "Wow, that's crazy. You've told me all this stuff about me." And then he looks at John, who's off in the distance, and he sees John standing over there, and he looks at Jesus. He's like, "Well, what about him? What's going to happen with him? Well, tell me about his life." And Jesus says a very interesting thing, and this is how the book of John ends. And he basically just says, "Peter, that's not for you. That's not your calling. That's not your purpose. You don't need to know what happens to him. That's not your worry or your concern. You should be concerned about yourself." And so what I read into that, what I believe Jesus is trying to tell us is that focus on your calling. Don't focus on other people's callings. Don't focus on what other people are supposed to be doing. Focus on yourself. And in this time of being away from people and having more free time and freedom to do quiet time, I encourage you to be praying and focusing on that quiet time with God and finding your calling, what Jesus is calling you to be. I think you'll find it's easier to do when there's all these distractions taken away, like school and sports and band and extracurricular activities. And so I think it's very unique timing that you can come and figure out what God's calling is in your life. I'm Pastor Ben. This is some Heritage Hill Talk, and I'm super excited to share this video with you guys. Have a good day.